Hey, that's me. My name's Alexa, and I'm a swiftie. Like, a huge swiftie. So naturally, when I started my master's in data analysis this year, I sought a means of incorporating the great musical love of my life into that degree. Fortunately for me, there's data on just about everything Taylor's ever done in her life, so with all that info at my fingertips, I just had to wait for an opportunity to put it to good use. And then I got one. This is my final project, Eras Tour Edition.
I think my fellow Swifties are really going to appreciate this. For my final project for this programming class, my professor was stupidly lenient on what topics he allowed us to choose for our project. So naturally I chose the Eras Tour. Now, before we get into this, I just want to say that this whole semester, I genuinely have felt like such an idiot, like 90% of the time. So I am going to be doing my best to explain this on like a 5th grade level. I have absolutely no desire to sound smart or to like use technical jargon to make you feel stupid. So if you're someone who is like genuinely interested in maybe computer programming, I really want to encourage you to do that. So there's this website called Kaggle. It is a wonderful place where everyone can post like any sort of data set they have collected on anything, and it's open source, it's free for anyone to use. I was just kind of looking around on there one day and I came across a data set of Eras Tour information. Every single show from the tour, all of the openers, how many tickets were sold, how many shows were played at each venue, like all sorts of really interesting information for a data analyst like me. I got the idea that I would do my final project on like the economic impact that the Eras Tour has had on cities across the US, because I've heard a lot of people talking about like Swiftie-nomics and like how big of an impact this tour has had and how it's, you know, broken all of these records. So I would like to see if I can make my own model for projecting like how much money was made at each stop and like, you know, the tax revenue that was collected in each city and like how much each city actually profited from Taylor personally. I'm gonna be using Python and SQL. So those are two like computer programs. If you're not familiar with them, you can look them up. But whereas Python is more like coding in general, SQL is more like designed to handle large amounts of information in like table format. So obviously it will be a really good fit for what I'm trying to do if I can get it to work. Pray for me. Okay, so it has taken me literally all afternoon, but I've finally gotten the data set loaded into my code. Oh my gosh, that took so much longer than I thought it was going to, but I did it, and it is in there, and it is in there. Oh gosh. So, probably doesn't seem very impressive. If I were listening to this video, I also probably wouldn't think that was very impressive. But I'm very proud of myself just because it took it took freaking forever for me to figure this out. And it was basically just a matter of having every single import setting correct and just lots of Googling, what does this error mean? So that's how I spent my afternoon. And so now, tomorrow, I can start using SQL to query the database. But we're done for today. So basically, I was planning on having tomorrow to be like a hardcore work day. I was gonna get a lot of work done on my final project. And then I'm scrolling through my calendar for tomorrow, which I thought was empty. And it turns out I have not one, but 2 doctor's appointments tomorrow that I totally forgot about. Well, I'm just gonna have to figure it out. Okay, so after I talked to my mom last night about the whole situation, I feel a lot better. She suggested that I should basically bring my laptop with me and just kind of try to get as much work done in the waiting room as possible. I could easily be sitting in the waiting room for like an hour or more at each appointment. So that's an hour or more that I could be spending working on my project. And I was just like so freaked out last night that I wasn't really thinking clearly, and I just needed someone like my sweet mama to just kind of remind me to take a step back and calm down and problem solve, basically. Hopefully we're gonna be extremely productive today. That way I will be able to come home and rest. Sitting in doctor's offices and like uncomfortable chairs for like basically the whole afternoon is just not the easiest thing on my body. So I know I'm not gonna feel like working and, you know, using my brain power when I get home. In other news, I kind of started rewatching Stranger Things last night. That's kind of my extreme stress show. So if I am overwhelmed by something going on in my life, that's the show that I go to because it just completely takes me out of my own reality. So excited for the new season because they literally just dropped the, I don't know, it wasn't even really a trailer, but it was like a teaser. Oh, it looks so good. I mean, it basically showed nothing. I have my theories, but I don't want to like spoil anything for anyone who maybe hasn't watched it. I can say my favorite character is Nancy. I just love her so freaking much, and her character arc is, in my opinion, one of the best on TV. I think Jonathan puts it really well in season 1 when he says she's like a girl who thinks she's rebelling by doing exactly what every other teenager before her has ever done to try and rebel. That's like basically what he says. It's like much more eloquent than that. It's such a good line and such a good conversation, and he really like calls her out, and I feel like that's where you start to see that there's something much deeper to her and much more mysterious and compelling. And then as the seasons go on, she just completely comes out of her shell, or out of whatever this idea in her head is of how she's supposed to be acting. She completely breaks that mold, and it is so satisfying to watch. Like, I love her character so much. Shoot, okay, like I have to finish getting ready and go. Okay, oh, give her a little zhuzh. Good. Here's the bag I'm taking today. I just got it from TJ Maxx. Isn't it cute? It came with this little like bag charm already attached, like little heart and the little charms and stuff. It's so cute. I'm gonna head out now, but I mean, I'm gonna take you along with me, so it's not really a goodbye.
So two things. First of all, the plan was a total success. I only had like 30 minutes to work in my first appointment. I was starting to get kind of worried at that point. But then my second doctor came through and had like almost a 2-hour wait. So I actually got a lot of work done. The last thing that I got to was like, basically, I realized that the data set for the Eras tour only has the tickets sold. It doesn't have how much revenue was brought in per show. So basically what I decided to do, I went through each show's revenue for the Reputation tour, so her most recent tour, and I basically averaged it all out to get some sort of like an average ticket price from the Rep era, which, now that I think about it, I probably should have tried to account for like inflation or something like that, but I didn't because that show was like 4 or 5 years ago. So basically, we're using Rep ticket sales to estimate Eras Tour ticket sales. Obviously, it's not ideal, but you know, it's what we're working with. So, also, when I got home today, I had a package from Amazon. And if you're wondering why the audio quality is hopefully so nice and crisp in this clip, it is because I'm using my mini little pink microphone that I got from Amazon. I took some test clips and like it really made a difference because there is a huge echo in here. And when I played the footage back using a mic, like for a little test run, you could barely hear the echo at all. That like ASMR quality audio. I don't know, this is maybe a big deal to make, but I'm excited. It means I'm taking this YouTube thing seriously. You can definitely see some pimples like from wearing that makeup all day. Realizing now that I may have gotten too hardcore on the skincare bandwagon because my skin 2 months ago maybe was so bad, like cystic breakouts all over everywhere. You can still kind of see the neck knee that's going away. And my mom was like, look, you just need to cut out all your skincare. And it was literally like nails on a chalkboard to my ears, but she was like, you need to cut out all your skincare and just like wash with warm water and don't put anything on your face, like no toners, no moisturizers, no nothing. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't think I could do that. But I did it for like a week and I was like, okay, wait, it kind of looks better, but I can't really tell for sure. So I did it for another week and it turns out it was that. Getting rid of my precious skincare. So much better. Okay, so I didn't really want to be on camera for this last little debugging session just because at this point I am pretty much in full study gremlin mode. I need to wash my hair, but I still wanted to get some clips, so I thought it was only fitting to have Taylor Swift on this last little bit of the project that I have dedicated to her.
We officially have functioning code. First up, we have the data set loaded into the project, which if you will recall, took me absolutely forever to figure out how to do that, but it is there now. And then we get all of the tickets sold at each of the US shows, multiplied by our like average ticket price, which again is not perfect, but it is an estimate. And we have our results! So according to my calculations, LA made like $700 million from this tour, like as a city, which I actually have articles where they reported their own projections. My estimate was a bit high on that one. However, Pittsburgh also released their projections, and I think it was around like 300 million is what they were estimating, and that is almost exactly what I have in this model. I'm hoping most of the cities are accurate and that LA is just like an outlier. I'm genuinely so proud of this project. Going into this, I was helplessly lost in terms of like understanding how to use SQL, and then I basically ended up having to use SQL for like this entire project, and it runs correctly. I'm about to submit it. I don't know what grade I'm gonna get like as of right now, but I will put it somewhere on the screen, so hopefully it's an A. But yeah, stay tuned because this summer I really need to find a tutor, to be honest, so that's what we're gonna be working on in our next vlog to get us ready for the fall classes. But yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.